Miniature art. Miniature art is an age-old art. Records of miniature art from the 16th century, when way before there was a printing press, and people would illustrate books with miniature art. And then from there on, there was commissions of portraits, again before photography, and people would wear the portraits of their loved ones or their favorite scene or home in a locket or on a brooch. It's kind of history. Now it's evolved into a whole venue of miniature art shows. There are miniature art societies around the world. The oldest one started in, I believe, 1896 in London, and then the second oldest one in the world is in Washington, D.C. My favorite medium is colored pencil. I kind of got into colored pencil, in about 97 or 8, and just discovered that it's so flexible. You mix your paint on the paper, or you can experiment on paper. You can walk away from it, it doesn't dry on you. There's just so many possibilities. You can get extreme detail with it, or not, but detail's my thing, so I like the fact that you can get a lot of detail with colored pencil, and you can get really vibrant colors. I also do play around with other mediums. Acrylic is what I use on the ostrich eggshell. I do work on antique piano keys too, since some of the miniature art shows have a special category for prizes for painting on ivory, or now man-made ivory. But you are still allowed to paint on ivory if it's an antique. Like, an old piano key is perfect. Obviously, you can't go out and get new ivory, and we wouldn't want to. So, there's a few reasons why I like to paint miniatures. I might get bored with a large painting and then put it aside and leave it forever or for years, because I just get bored with it. However, saying that, there have been studies in the art societies in the miniature art societies saying that on average, per square inch, genuine miniatures take 9 times longer per square inch. But still, if you do a painting that's 1 square inch, you can do more paintings. So I have so many subjects, so many photos, so many things I want to paint. The old saying, so many books, so little time. Well, I have so many reference photos, so little time to paint them, and if I did larger paintings, I wouldn't even make a dent in all the things I want to paint. The other reason I think I like miniature art is because it just takes up less room. I mean, if you want to throw some things in a bag and go and paint, you can do it on your lap. You don't have to have a whole bunch of stuff to set up. So that's kind of fun too. And I have a small table. I generally have 3 paintings going at once on that one table. So skip from one to the next, again, get bored with one, go to the next, come back to the other one, and when they get done, they get done. But concentrating on one big thing that takes up your whole room wouldn't work for me. I'm a very goal-oriented person, where I make lists, and you have certain shows coming up, certain things to do, certain things to paint, and I love having those goals. It's very motivating, and I need them. And focusing on miniature art and the art world of miniature art, all the shows that you enter and so forth, is a wonderful thing for me. It's what I want to focus on. One thing I always put on the back of every painting, just something I want to say on every painting, it says, "Celebrate God's creation and give Him the glory." Because really, I'm just copying what He created. I do want to give Him the glory, because really, when you look around, He's created so many beautiful things. And I want to pick out some of those little things in creation that maybe sometimes people don't notice. Little details. I think growing up in Worthington has influenced my art because of nature. Just, I can't imagine growing up in a city. In fact, probably if I grew up in a city, I might be painting urban scenes. I think people kind of gravitate to what they grew up with. My family always went on lots of vacations. We would see lots of different types of scenery, go camping, and so we'd be out in nature, and you'd notice the different plants and flowers and birds and animals. I think that's why I gravitate toward painting that sort of thing, not man-made structures. One of the quotes of miniature artists in different publications I've seen about miniature art, and it's, quote, "The gems of the art world." They're the small, the precious stones, per se. I think that's kind of the thing where you don't appreciate it at a glance. You're not really meant to appreciate it at a glance. You're meant to hold it in your hand and just really look. It's not a glance, oh, that's good, move on. It's a look at it, study it. Let yourself go into it. My art, for me, in the past, has been not focused. And when I took lessons and so forth in high school, they'd say, focus on one thing, find one thing that you love. Well, I never could find that one thing until I found miniature art. And once I found miniature art, I'm like, yeah, this is my thing. This is what I want to do. Having that focus makes all the difference.
This program on Pioneer Public Television is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4th, 2008. Additional support provided by Mark and Margaret Yakel-Julien in honor of Shalom Hill Farm, a nonprofit rural education retreat center in a beautiful prairie setting near Windham in southwestern Minnesota. ShalomHillFarm.org. The Arrowwood Resort and Conference Center, your ideal choice for Minnesota resorts, offering luxury townhomes, 18 holes of golf, Darling Reflections Spa, Big Splash Water Park, and much more. Alexandria, Minnesota. Explore hundreds of lakes, trails, and attractions for a great vacation or a place to hold an event. ExploreAlex.com. Tri-State Brain and Spine Institute, with locations in Alexandria, Edina, Crookston, and Maple Grove. Doctors dedicated to evaluating and treating all types of brain and spine problems, no matter how complex.